Alright, this is my deck profile for Turbo Dialga in the Sword and Shield through Brilliant Stars format. Pokemon Go does come out tomorrow, and that's going to change the deck a little bit. We'll be seeing a potentially new stadium included in the list, and maybe a couple other cards and changes, but I just wanted to make this as kind of a way to explain my thought on the deck, different directions it can go, maybe some other inclusions, and success with the deck. So I'll be doing Pokemon first. So my line for this, which is pretty normal for this deck, is 2-2. So 2V, 2V star. I play one Zacian V, one Aegislash V, two Crobat V, 4 Mew from Celebrations, and 1 Radiant Greninja. So the main star of the deck is, of course, the Dialga V-Star. It has an attack Star Chronos for 220 damage. It takes 5 energies. It allows you to take an extra turn after that. It's very useful, so a lot of the times, if you do get it set up, nothing's going to be surviving 440 damage. So at the very least, you're getting a knockout with the attack. It has another attack, Metal Blast, 40 plus. 40 plus 40 for each metal energy attached to it. So most of the time, if you have turboed out enough energies in a turn, you can deal upwards of like 240, 280, sometimes more, but it's a little risky to go anywhere past that. 280 is kind of the golden number right now, especially with Palkia V-Star being the most popular deck. Metal, in general, is just an amazing type to be. You have great support like Metal Saucer and Crystal Cave. You have Metal Transfer Bronzong. I'm not using Crystal Cave or Metal Transfer Bronzong in this list, but Metal Saucer just makes all the difference. This deck would not be a thing without it. There is the, what's that? The Magnezone. The Magnezone where you evolve it, you look at the top 6 and you grab any energy there and attach them. That's good. It's stage 2, so it's slow. And this is just the opposite. So this is fast. This is like, you'll know who will win in like probably like 2 or 3 turns, unless you both brick, and that takes like 20. So I included Zacian V. So you want to go first with the deck, of course, because it is an evolution deck. But you also have the amazing ability on here, Intrepid Sword. Look at the top 3. If there's any metal energy, you can attach them. Just put them into your hand. It's great. So just a great way to end your first turn, or any slow turns. You can just accelerate some energy maybe. This deck does play quite a few metal energy, so it will be hitting energy pretty often. I play the 2 Crobat V here. Just draw 6. A lot of the times to get going, you'll need it. You'll play 1, maybe 2 per game. I mean, I think Crobat sucks. Just having a 2 prize liability down is unfortunate a lot of the times, because there are quite a few games where it comes down to, did you bench 1 or 2 Crobat early game? There's not really a way to get them off the bench either, unless you fill it and they collapse you, but for the most part, if your opponent's playing well, they won't be doing that. I played 4 Mew V just because, you know, Turbo Engine, you want to see it. This is the one you want to see opening up in your hand. If you see something like Zacian, especially Aegislash or Dialga V in your opening hand, and that's the only basic, it's kind of rough. Just being able to look at the top 6 on the first turn and just immediately grab something that you need is very important. So that's why I include 4. You could probably get away with 3, but that's just how I like it. I play the Radiant Greninja, pair it with Training Court, pair it with Metal Saucer, Scoop Up Net. You can just reuse it over and over. Same with Mew, you can scoop it up and just keep cycling them. It's a great way to just draw 2 cards. It's only 1 prize, which is amazing. You only get 1 in the deck because it's Radiant. 1 retreat cost. So the thing I like about the bottom here is just that they're all 1 retreat cost. I do run an air balloon in here, so just having free retreat is very important. And there's some plays with, like, say Crobat V, just attach retreat, get a metal energy in the discard. You want to have a bunch of metal energy in your discard because you're going to be A, thinning, and B, using a lot of metal saucers. In Aegis/V, I wanted to talk about this one last. So this deck completely, without this or canceling clone, just fails. Versus Miltank. Miltank just completely shuts down the deck, locking down damage. There's no other way. You'd never attack with Radiant Greninja. We don't run water. We don't run Psychic for Mew, and it does no damage anyways. So just running Aegis Slash is very important. It has the attack Sonic Edge, which is 130 damage for 3 energies, 2 metal, 1 colorless, and it's not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's one-shotting Miltank if it doesn't have any HP modifiers on it. We don't run Choice Belt, so if they do get a cape down, it can take 2 turns, but most of the time, Miltank won't be knocking out Aegis Slash anyways, so it's not really a problem. And a lot of the times, this is also the worst card to open up with if you're not playing against Miltank, so it's kind of unfortunate, but we play a lot of others. So I would say even Crobat's better, because that has 1 retreat cost, so you can just attach retreat, put a metal energy in the discard pile, which is pretty good. So I think that's kind of it for the Pokemon. It's kind of my thought process. But a big thing for me when running just certain quantities over other quantities is just like, what do you want to see starting? Like, if you could run more than 1 Radiant Greninja, of course you would, but you can't. So cutting down to 2 Dialga is good. Going second, this deck does kind of struggle. If you do have Dialga V in the active, you can always use, what's it called? Metal Coating to attach to. Directly from the discard, but of course then your opponent's getting their next turn and you have it in the in the active with a bunch of energy attached. So for items, I play Hisuian Heavy Ball, 2 Energy Search, 2 Battle VIP Pass, 2 Ultra Ball, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Metal Saucer, 4 Scoop Up Net, 4 Cross Switcher. Is that on screen? Yep, 4 trekking shoes. That's it for my items, unless you want to count the tools, but I'll be going over those after the supporters. So this is a turbo engine. You're going to be running the 4 trekking shoes, just see a lot more cards. Put metal energy in the discard, which is kind of a common theme if you haven't picked up on that yet. Because Metal Saucer, just being able to accelerate onto the bench your metal energies is just absurdly powerful. I run the 4 Scoop Up Net. You just want to see it as much as possible. You can get your Mews out of the active, your Greninjas, you can reset any of them. It acts as a switch most of the time. Cross Switcher is good. There's a lot of turns where, I'll go over this more in depth later, but you want to switch out, right? You have something dead in the active, you want to switch out. It's an item, it doesn't count as your supporter like Boss, so just getting the Gust and the switch is very important. You do need to play 2 at the same time, but you're playing so much item search with that Mew from Celebrations that you're going to be seeing at least 1 play of this per game. Seeing it in your very start, like the opening hand, is kind of unfortunate, just because most of the time you're trying to find cards you can discard with Quick Ball. So, I mean, you can discard 1. If you discard 1, you can discard 2, right? But I think it's just a very strong card. If your deck can play it, especially with the turbo engine, it should be. I run 2 Ultra Ball for search along with the 4 Quick Ball, just because, well, this is the only way to search out your Dialga directly, but you're going to be seeing a lot of it with the Mew. You'll be grabbing it a lot. I haven't really had any games, and I played a lot of games with this deck where it's like I don't have Dialga in my hand when I need it. So you're going to be finding it enough. Ultra Ball, just extra discard, get to search, and just being able to thin your Mews out easily is good too, because you don't really want to be drawing them off your Averys or Marnies. So a lot of the times once I set up the Zacian and like 2 Dialga and whatever I need, I'll just Quick Ball for them and thin them out, because you only really need 2 or 3 Mew per game at most. 2 Energy Search, just a way to grab, kind of pseudo-grab energy off of the Mew from Celebrations. So seeing it in your opening is fine. You're just going to usually burn them right away. 2 Battle VIP Pass, I think I want to go to 3, but you already see it enough. Like, and when you run 3, it becomes a problem late game. You just draw into it a lot more. That's my kind of thought process in Mew. I know I haven't showed my current list, but I run 3, and every other Mew list runs 4. So you're going to be seeing it a lot with the amount of digging you're doing. So you're going to be getting it enough. Like, it's going to matter most games. Just being able to search for free. And then Hisui and Heavy Ball just to get whatever you need out of the prize cards. Like, especially if, like, one of your one-of Pokemons, like Aegislash, Zacian, or a Greninja are prize. Like, it's very important just to get them out early so that you can continue your game. For supporters, I run 1 Boss, 1 Raihan, 2 Averys, 2 Marnies. So 1 Boss, just an emergency gust if you have it in hand, is very broken. I mean, this deck will be putting up 3 gusts most of the time. You don't really need too many though. You're going to be taking turns. Dialga hits for so much energy, or so much damage once you get enough energy attached to it, that it's like just going to be tearing through your opponent's bench. Avery is really strong, so if you play it safe with your Dialga vstar, like if you don't need to immediately take a turn when you get it down, you can Avery, if they have a full bench, put them to 3, and then vstar, you can take a knockout, bring something else up, get a knockout, and you're just kind of clearing their board almost. It's very strong. Raihan's really good because Mews or Greninja get knocked out pretty easily, so you always have a way to accelerate an extra energy without a Metal Saucer. So at most in a turn, if a Mew gets knocked out, you can do like 5 acceleration of Metal, which is really good. I do play 2 Marnie. I've been thinking about cutting this to 1 and then finding another supporter to play. But disrupting your opponent's hand as well as just drawing cards off the top is really strong. I'm not that big of a fan of Roxanne right now. I kind of have mixed feelings, but overall, I would rather prefer to play Marnie over Roxanne or Research or anything else. Maybe Birdkeeper would be good. I haven't really thought about that one too much. So next up for stadiums and tools, I play 1 Big Charm, 1 Air Balloon, and 2 Training Court. Training Court's really important early game so that you can discard your energy with concealed cards with Greninja, draw 2, and then put it back into your hand if you need to attach, or scoop up and do it again. You can keep kind of cycling an energy over and over every turn if you have Training Court down. A lot of decks do play Training Court, so it's a nice way to just get your energy back. And also just bumping other stadiums is kind of important, I think, right now. Like, a lot of stadiums just, like, are archetype specific. Like, what's the one? Stormy Mountains, I think, that the Reggies play to search their metal, or their dragon and electric. So things like that you want to bump out of the way. Usually Training Court is going to be beneficial for both players. I play Big Charm and Air Balloon. Air Balloon, getting your retreats easy. If you put Zacian up, you can just get it off the active pretty easily. So you can do another attack directly after your Brave Blade. And then Big Charm is just like, a lot of things hit for like 180 late game, especially if they're playing double turbo. They're not really hitting for 210. So you're just kind of limiting your opponent's options to discard a Crobat if you get it on there. Or you could just make your Dialga really big, make it harder to knock out too. It just works in your favor a lot more. I wouldn't really play more than this. You could run Choice Belt, but I think the deck's already doing an incredible amount of damage. But overall, I'm really happy with the turbo engine. I think I want to make my own, I don't know, video, maybe just a giant paragraph talking about it or something. I don't know. I think it's really cool. I really like playing decks that go fast, and this is one of them that does it. I'll probably show off my Mew list next. I do want to talk about Mewtwo V-Star from Pokemon Go coming out tomorrow. But like I mentioned, additions to the deck, I would definitely say Pokestop as a one-of. Maybe go to 1-1 with the Training Court in Pokestop. But I could just cut a Marnie for an additional stadium too, which is nice. But yeah, I'll keep it updated. If anything changes major, be sure to share. There are other ways to play it, but I think this one is the best. I do really well at my locals, really well in the online tournaments I enter. I see really good results, so I'm a big fan, and that's kind of my thoughts on the deck.